I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about I lost the one.
This is a really interesting topic we have for you today. Before we start, I did want to say that Craig and I are available for coaching sessions.
Yep.
So if you did want to talk about your situation one-on-one with us, please head to the website and you can book from there.
Yep. And it feels so much better to talk about it because we talk about breakups every day and we have for many years. So we understand what it's like to go through it. We've been through breakups, very painful. And we know what it's like when you're going through it. And, you know, I used to talk to Margaret 2 times a week and sometimes for hours at a time. She would always just fit me in and just stay with me for hours when I was going through it because it was so tough. You know, especially when you feel like you've lost somebody who is the one. That one, not just an ex, but the person you were going to marry. The person that you're going to spend your life with. The person you're going to have a family with. And that everything just felt right. And it can be absolutely shocking and devastating, especially depending upon how it falls apart. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it falls apart so quickly that you can't even believe it. And you just spiral out of control because biologically that's kind of what we do, except for the most secure people who tend to naturally do the right thing. But most people are going to beg and plead and try and convince that person not to leave, to give them another chance because they're terrified of losing them and, being abandoned by them. But when we have this belief that that person is the one we're supposed to be with, it can really be devastating. It can really just feel like your whole life is shattered.
And if you've ever experienced this in your life, you know how real it is to you. You believe that this person is the one just as you believe that the sky is blue. You can feel it in your body. You feel safe around this person. You feel like you've always known them. And so losing them can have such a dramatic impact on your mental health, on your view of the world, on your view of relationships. So I figured we would talk about this today. And we have really great insight from Dr. Seth Gillihan. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. I say that every time I say an author's name. But he talks about destiny beliefs, which are basically these beliefs that say that something is meant to be. It could be a relationship, it could be something else. In this case, we're talking about relationships. And it's this idea that fate has somehow brought the two of you together, and fate says that the two of you are going to be together forever. That's the one person for you.
Yeah.
And so research on these relationship destiny beliefs have found out some interesting things, talking to different participants and seeing how their beliefs affect their relationship. And what they found was that during conflict, they found that a partner who holds this belief would be more aggressive and more hostile towards their partner.
Interesting.
They also said that they're not as forgiving and more likely to stonewall a partner or ghost a partner. And so in his article, he talks about how some of these behaviors can be a result of thinking because there's conflict, that must mean this person isn't the one. And if they aren't the one, then they're getting in the way of me being together with the one.
Interesting.
And so it's really fascinating. He talks about 4 different arguments as to why this belief in the one perfect person for you, can be something that's harmful and dangerous.
This is interesting stuff. We have seen that avoidants tend to expect their partner to be easy or the relationship to be easy. And so I wonder if there's some correlation with avoidance and the fantasy that the one is supposed to be easy and meet all my needs magically. And so maybe it's because there's some anger in the avoidant who didn't get their needs met from their caregivers. They're angry at mom and dad for not meeting their needs, and so now they're taking that anger out on their partners.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we end up repeating these patterns from childhood. And so anger that a child would have towards their parents for neglecting them, for not being there, for constantly dismissing them, if they see that repeated in adulthood from a seemingly perfect relationship so far, or somebody who's supposed to be there and meet their every need, of course that rage of their entire life would come up. And so one of the reasons that he finds that this belief can be harmful is believing that conflict means that your partner isn't meant to be with you. And this is huge, because you can end up being a lot more judging towards your partner. You end up having a level of space between them when you don't think that they are the one. You start to think, well, this is a person that's in my life, I'm investing so much, and now I find out that it's not working out because we've had this conflict. The one wouldn't treat me like this, or the one wouldn't say this to me, or the one would compromise more easily. So this can create a lot more tension when a conflict comes up.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, you really have to think about these things because sometimes they get really deep, when you're trying to understand this. So if you're giving up on your partner because they aren't meant to be with you, okay, so what's going to happen then, right? How's that going to impact the connection? Well, I guess you're going to be less likely to try and work through the issues because you're feeling like, well, it's supposed to be easy. When I'm with the one, it's supposed to be easy. And it's not easy because we're fighting, we're arguing, we're disagreeing. So I think this isn't going to work out. And I'm expecting my connection with the one to, be very simple, where you know what I want. You should know what I need, right? You should know what I want. And, if you really do think that this person, you really believe this person is the one you're meant to be with, if it's not working, I think it's going to cause like a much deeper sense of pain and loss than if it's somebody you're casually dating and you're not sure about, right? Because you feel like you're losing a soulmate, and, all of the dreams and the hopes that you were going to have with that person.
Exactly, yeah. And loss is one of those things that can bring up a whole bunch of different emotions in you, like anger, resentment. You start thinking back on that relationship and start questioning your idea of the one. You start to question yourself and what you believe in, what you believe love should be like. Another thing that can happen is resentment being built up toward your partner for them not being the one. This feeling that all my time here has been wasted. Some people feel deceived by their partner. I thought you were the one. You presented yourself as the one for so long.
Yep.
You reciprocated those feelings. You told me that you thought I was the one. And so all of this anger and resentment can come out towards your ex-partner in a situation where you believe in this perfect person, this soulmate for you. Yeah,
and then especially like if they leave the relationship easily too. Like you think the problems are fairly easy to work through, yet you told me you wanted to marry me and have kids with me, and now you're breaking up with me because you don't like the way I dress, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, you hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some silly, insignificant reason that could easily be talked about or worked through.
Right. And on the flip side, it also causes people to tolerate a lot more if they believe that someone is the one. So you might be tolerating someone's mistreatment for years, and then one day the relationship ends, and you realize, I thought they were the one, and that's why I hold it out so long. A really great example of this, there's a recent-ish documentary on Netflix about twin flame. I won't say the full name of the thing because I don't know. I don't want to get us in trouble, but it's about the twin flame concept, and that there are content creators that really hone in on this concept and will say, okay, we're going to find you and match you up with your twin flame, and it's going to be perfect and it's going to be forever. And in the documentary, it goes through how extreme people's behaviors got in order to be with who they thought was the one, to the point of getting restraining orders, to the point of getting stalking charges. So this belief can really drive people to the point where they're desperate, where they're doing whatever they possibly can to be with the person that they think is the one.
And then you've got the partners that have been cheating the whole time, and then when they get caught, they're like, no, but we're meant to be together. And so they manipulate the person they've been cheating on by saying, we're meant to be together. I'm sorry. I'll change. I'll never do it again. And then, you know, you're like, oh, I love this person. Maybe they will change. Maybe I can give them another chance.
Yeah.
And they just use it to manipulate.
And be very, very, very careful in these situations, because I've even seen it after assault. You know, you'll see this cycle of abuse that happens in toxic relationships and with perpetrators in abusive partnerships, where it'll be this cycle of, you know, causing a lot of damage to your partner. Then there's, you know, the asking for forgiveness and the repair, and this cycle continues on and on and on. So be very aware if you have these types of beliefs, how you're being treated, and if you are in a situation of abuse, please, please, please find yourself professional help if you find yourself in that. I will say that thinking in and believing in the one is not all bad. And so the author of this article touches on that too, where he says, you know, the belief in the one can serve as a comfort, because choosing a partner is such a huge decision. You know, this is somebody that Margaret would say you're going to spend however many Tuesdays with. You know, you're going to be making a lot of life decisions together, especially when it comes to marriage and having kids and things like that. So the idea of, if I make the wrong choice, then I'm screwed, you know, then what's going to happen then? It's a lot of pressure. So thinking that this person has been meant to be for you, there's something special about your connection with them, can be what it takes to keep a healthy relationship going. And what's really sweet about this article is he also mentions in his personal relationship, you know, he views that fate brought them together, you know, that it was just by happenstance, like wild circumstance that they got together, but he says that they continually choose every day to stay together. And I thought that was really precious that he brought up.
Yeah, and it's true. It really is a choice for somebody to stay together and see that person as the one. And for some people, believing that someone is the one is motivating for them. You know, I want to believe that my partner is the one for me right now in this moment. You know, I'm meant to be in this relationship by how I treat them, by how I show them love and affection. You know, you can make your partner the one. And I like that concept too, you know, because it takes away this kind of supernaturalness to it, which, you know, for some of you who do believe that, that very well may be there. But it puts it into practical terms of, what are you doing to be the one for your partner, and how are you making your partner the one? That's a good point. What are you doing to be the one for them, right? And what are they doing to be the one for you? You have to look at it in more logical terms on what you can actually do. And, you know, some people just are so self-absorbed that they don't actively think about, well, what am I doing to make my partner happy, to make them feel like I'm the one for them, and vice versa. That's healthy. And I also wanted to share one more quote from this article that I really liked. I really enjoyed this one. He says, conflict is to a relationship what pain is to the body, an inevitable sign of life. And so he talks about how conflict in a relationship isn't meaning that the relationship isn't meant to be, but rather that it's something that is alive, just like we are alive, and, you know, we stub our toe and it hurts, and it reminds us, okay, we're living, we're human, this is natural, and we're working through things. So. Yeah, that's a good quote. I never heard that one before. Yeah, I liked it. All right. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching. Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.